Think big, think positive, never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem. Nothing you have ever witnessed will prepare you for the absolute carnage you're about to witness. It's Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
Thrive Loud brings you the most incredible leaders that can help you to succeed, to hustle, to grow, and of course, to thrive in your business and in your life. This is the show, the place, the launch pad to get you to the next level. What are you waiting for? It's time to Thrive Loud.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have someone who is the #1 marriage and relationship coach based in New York City. You might have heard her or seen her on the radio, on MTV, A&E's The Marriage Test, The Dr. Phil Show, or on The Today Show, where she provides dating, sex, and relationship advice to hundreds of people every month. She's the head coach over at the Handel group. Thrive Loud listeners, Laurie Gerber. Laurie, how are you today?
I'm excellent today, Lou. Thank you.
Laurie, I am always fascinated when I have to start off a show talking about dating, sex, and relationship advice.
Yes.
And the real question I want to ask is, how did this become your gig? How did this specialty, was this something that has always been the direction you've been in, or did it kind of evolve into that role?
It evolved. I had a near divorce experience myself.
Near divorce
it was one of the things. Yes, you've heard of those, right? Isn't that a thing? NDE?
Are you allowed to share the specifics or the generalities?
I'm allowed to, please. I thought you'd never ask.
So what happened?
So essentially, I came to coaching because I was not thriving. I came to Handel Group Coaching, the place where I now work, about 15 years ago because I wasn't thriving. And I wasn't thriving across many areas of my life, not just relationship. And of course, I wanted to work on my career because that's what was socially acceptable to work on. And that's what I tried to get my coach to work with me on. But she forced me to look at all areas of my life. And when she made me honestly answer, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give your love relationship, your marriage? I had to give it around a 4 or a 5. So a 10 was we're connected, we're intimate, we're talking, we're, having so much fun together. But in reality, it was we're co-parenting, we're surviving, we're making it, we're exhausted. We pretty much ignore each other. We stopped having sex months ago. I barely even think about it. I don't really care. And I'm sure it'll be better once the kids are out of the house in 15 years,
Right.
And isn't everyone lame like this, right? Except I looked over at my friend Lauren Handel Zander, founder of the Handel method, and her life was not that. She was stripping her husband. She was having fun. She was back in her pre-pregnancy body. She was having a great career. And that's why I hired her, quite honestly, because I didn't like the direction I could see my life was going. Anyway.
So that's for your piece of it, and that became your part. And I'm assuming in working with her, she helped turn you around.
Yeah, so bottom line, in that first 6 months together, we worked on my health and body, which then it bled right into my relationship and my sex life. We fixed that. We dragged it back from the edge of the near divorce experience. And now I'm 27 years in and it gets better and better, including the sex, which is an amazing accomplishment, I think, at my age with 3 children and one of whom is still pretty young. And then we got to career, right? She kind of reordered my thinking. And then as we were in career, it turned out I ended up wanting to work for her and teach this method for the rest of my life because I like to keep repeating it so I remember it. And so I became a teacher. And then one of my specialties, I actually work with all areas of life, but one of my specialties became love, sex, dating, and marriage, just because it's one of the biggest pain points people have in terms of thriving in their life and often underlying the other stuff. Right. And interconnected with career, interconnected with money, interconnected with health, of course, interconnected with all the other areas. So that just was a natural place for my own experience, but also because it's what people need.
Laurie, they often say, and we've had a lot of coaches in all different areas of expertise, that one of the best parts about coaching is being able to listen and be very focused on the person you're helping to coach. Obviously, you've had personal experience that is very relevant. It's the area that you specialize in. Do you feel you're tapping into what had personally happened to you when you're hearing problems and helping other people?
Yeah, I have yet to meet a couple or even family members that aren't in the same kind of rut that I was in, that I don't have something in common with. And I'll explain that just broadly. People are not talking to each other about their ideals and what they want. And I was a self-help junkie, Lou. I was into it. You would have thought I would have sat my husband down and been like, hey, here's what I want. What do you want? Nope, wasn't doing it. So people aren't doing that. We are not. So you're not saying what you believe in, what your ideal is, what you're looking for, what your dream is. You're not hashing out. You're not, what's the word? You're not fighting well with your own mind. So that was the other thing. I was finding all my friends who agreed with me, who also weren't having sex with their husbands, who also, everything was in agreement with my bump on a logness, my resignation and my slothfulness, right? My slothfulness and my gluttony, frankly, if we're talking about deadly sins, because it was both, right? There was an utter laziness to me, and there was also a gluttony where I was getting my emotional needs met by sugar, not by my husband, which is a wonderful story of cheating on my part. And then folks are not designing the right practices, like the literal physical practices. Everybody says, like, wouldn't it be great if a kid came with a manual? Like, if someone would just tell me how to do it and what to do. Well, the fact is, every couple is different. Every two people who relate to each other are different, and it's a different manual for a different person. But you have to actually design the manual with that person if you want to keep something good alive. And if you just let it go and see what happens, things atrophy, right? That's the nature of things, because that's science, because we teach at MIT.
Yeah, you need to work on everything. It just gets like, if you want to stay in shape, you got to work on your body. If you want to stay mentally sharp, you got to sharpen your mind. If you want your relationship to stay crisp, you have to work on it as well. This is interesting, I guess, because you probably are dealing with lots of different levels of advice. I guess the question I want to tap into here is, have you ever had an issue where there was plenty of sex, but the relationship was totally messed up?
Oh, sure. Our sort of rubric for looking at relationships is called the 3 H's. Have you heard of the 3 H's?
I have not. Share with the listeners.
Okay. The 3 H's are your head, your heart, and your hoo-ha. And in fact, we have a whole, digital coaching course just on this concept of dating in accordance with the 3 H's, the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha. So when you're assessing anyone you want to, fall in love with or stay in love with, there's always the head. Is it practical? Does it work? There's the heart. How connected do I feel? How known and cared for, and do I like the attention, and is it warm, and all that stuff. And then there's the hoo-ha, which is our funny name for the sexual chemistry or the attraction or how good that part is. So if you don't have all 3, you're not happy in your relationship. All 3 are important. All 3 voters get a vote. We generally sell out on 1 or 2 of them, thinking we cannot have them all. We're not designing them all, and we could be. So yes, of course, there could be a couple that's doing great on hoo-ha and has been ignoring head or heart, right? They're doing great on hoo-ha, but they live on different continents, and one wants kids and the other doesn't, right? So, or, they don't trust each other, but the sex is really hot, So yes, we could definitely fall down on any of the H's and then need help.
Laurie, do you think that today there's one area that you're hearing more of the problems that you're helping to help people advice with than another? Is there something, I hate saying this, but is there one more hot topic that's happening today that you're seeing more than not?
Yeah, I think because our openness about sexuality is increasing as a human culture, thank God, in my opinion, I think people are extra confused and awkward about talking about it, about talking about everything from gender roles to sex to polyamory to multiple partners to bringing in, like, there's just so much more that's beginning to be part of our vocabulary and our understanding of what people are into. But we're just still, we've got one foot in cave times, like it's just, where we can't even say penis, like we can't even say the word. So I think there's just a whole world of work to be done on loosening us up. In fact, again, this is a whole module we do in our program about just loosening up the awkwardness about talking about sex, sexuality, gender, everything, and how many, so people just don't say, right? You don't say, I looked at someone, I thought about them, or what if we ever want to bring someone else into the relationship? People just aren't saying these things that really most everyone is thinking. But as soon as you start to hide it, it becomes shameful. It becomes a rift between you and that person. It becomes something that can tear you apart instead of actually bring you closer together.
Laurie, I want to ask you a question. This is total opinion, shooting from the hip here, but this is something that someone had brought to my attention, and I kind of wrote it in my notes. If the conversation goes down this avenue, I'd love to ask it. The inability to talk about sex in your personal life, do you think there's any corollary to the challenges in the very PC work world that people are living in, where sexual harassment issues are coming up? People have had to change that component of what goes on in life at work, that maybe there's some taboo in one area that might be carrying over into not talking about it in another?
It would be convenient to actually connect the two, to be like, well, I can't, there's a cliche, I can't talk about anything now, like as though everyone was being so honest before. When they were harassing each other. Right?
I'm not just saying harassment, like even just saying anything sexual at the workplace could be misinterpreted today as something.
I'm going to go ahead and say, do not talk about sex in the workplace. That's easy, right? So don't harass people. Don't break people's boundaries. Don't talk about sex in the workplace. Really, you've got a whole other 14 hours a day, right? Like, don't worry. You're good. I'm not telling you you're grounded. I'm just saying, speak about the appropriate things at the appropriate time. Also, don't gossip at work. Also, don't ever talk behind anyone else's back, right? There's a lot of good rules that you can use to protect yourself. But what I think the entire population needs is an increase in the ability to be respectful and the increase in the ability to be honest, right? Yeah. They actually go together. The more you give yourself the freedom to tell your own truth in a graceful way, the more respect you're actually granting yourself and other people. So, and the more respect you grant yourself and other people, do I have permission? May I talk about this? Is this comfortable for you? Is this okay? The more that you can be honest. So we call it grace and wisdom. Grace goes with wisdom. Wisdom goes with grace. You can't just say whatever you think to whomever all the time. You'll get in trouble, and you should. But what we've been doing is erring way too far on the other side, which is to not only not say what we think, but to lie and pretend. I did a whole TEDx talk on this recently, all about lying and the epidemic of lying and what it does to us. And we're lying all the time, Lou. We're lying all the time. And we really are excusing it because, we don't want to get in trouble. It's inappropriate. They won't understand it. But we end up sick. We end up literally sick, up at night, full of anxiety, literally with autoimmune disorders, disconnected from the people in our life, disconnected from our dreams, all because of lying.
It's the truth. If you're not being authentic with yourself or with your others and your loved ones, where are you going to? What's the point of it? It's unhealthy.
Yeah. You can do yoga till the cows come home. You can drink your 8 glasses of water. You can eat a plant-based diet. You will not be thriving while you're lying, and we're all lying.
Laurie, this is a question I ask every guest on the program, and I'm very curious to know where this goes. Obviously, you have a thriving practice, and you're very passionate about what you do. And you also have a thriving love life in what you're doing at home. When you're having trouble thriving,
yes,
who or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Yeah, I have a lot of good tools in my toolbox. I would say the first and foremost, at least the one I'm really into right now, is I look for what I'm lying about, Lou. I literally think about my day, think about the people in my life, think about the topics in my life, listen to my mind early in the morning and go, oh, I'm blowing that off and I didn't say anything about it. Oh, I told that person I would look at that and I had no intention of looking at that. Oh, I pretended like I had the money for that and literally I make a list and I send it to my coaches so they know what I've been lying about. That is instant freedom. There are many other things I can do as well. I'm just trying to think what's my next best one.
No, I'm going to stop right there because I'm writing this one down because that just
That's a good one.
to me.
That's a really good one.
No, it connected to me and it totally hit me. And it's like, that is such a smart thing to do. Just at the minute, is it when it hits you or is it like at the end of the day, you accumulated?
Interestingly enough, I actually have a rule for myself, and Handel Group loves rule. We love making promises. It's kind of like our jam, so we love making promises. So I literally have a promise that I have to be an 8 or above in happiness, like high vibrations and good times, which normally is not hard because I've designed my life very much in keeping with what's important to me. But I can definitely dip below. And if I dip below an 8, I have to be in communication with one of my support people right away. No more than 15 minutes below an 8 before I'm in communication. So I have that stopgap, right? I have that safety net that I am not going to, it's not that I can't be upset or grumble. I just can't do it alone in a dark cave, right? And then, right? Hiding and not wanting anyone to know or anyone to know what I might be lying about or what I might be avoiding. And I can pretty much guarantee that between lies I might be telling, things that I'm avoiding that I should be doing, or conversations I'm not having that I should be having, or if I just am totally out of alignment with sleep or self-care or food or, vacation time, between those 4 things, I'm going to figure out what's off.
Laurie, let's do this right now. Let's do the admin part of the show. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you, social media, websites, whatever, what have you. We will put it on the show notes. Well, it's better when it comes from you.
Okay, wonderful. The main thing people should know is about our online digital coaching courses. So at inneru.coach, that's INNER, the letter U.coach, you're going to find Inner You Life and Inner You Love. Each of those is 12 audio sessions with my coach and the co-founder of the company, Lauren Handel Zander. So covering all the methodology of same as we teach at MIT and Stanford and with our top CEOs, all of the methodology in one place, all of the assignments in one place, plus Inner University group classes, plus a private coaching session, all for an insanely small amount of money, one-time payment of $650. For Inner You Life, one-time payment for Inner You Love, and you own that all and are part of the community forever. And you guys have a discount code. You particularly, Lou Diamond, because you're so fun. Your discount code currently is worth $150, but after March 15th will be worth $75, and it's Thrive Loud 75. So make a note of that. Thrive Loud 75 gets you that whole package, but even cheaper. And the beautiful thing is it's self-guided. So come and go as you please. Use it for the rest of your life. There's enough in there for the rest of your life, so please do. And that is the best place to find out about the Handel method in a way that's very affordable. You will also see on that page the opportunity to talk to a human being. So if you want to talk to a human being about the coaching, the digital or live private coaching, that link is on the same page. And if you want to follow me personally, I am Laurie Gerber _coach, LAURIEGERBER _coach on Instagram.
Spectacular. That was one of the most thorough show note descriptions ever. You just made my team's life so much easier. We will make sure it's all in there. So, Laurie, is it okay if we head down what I like to call Fun Street here in the interview?
Oh, sure. I love Fun Street.
Okay. First of all, we're going to do, because Thrive Lab listeners need to know this. Right before we began recording, Laurie says, I hate favorite things because I have no idea where I need to go.
Yes. I don't like favorites. I actually don't like to say a favorite. How do I know what my favorite? Some things I know my favorites, but
okay.
Whatever. We'll try.
Share with the listeners your all-time favorite movie.
Oh, that's so tough. What is my all-time favorite movie? I'm going to say Two of a Kind with John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. There you go.
Did you see it recently? Is that what brought that up, or why does that movie connect with you?
That's the only movie I can remember. I have 3 children. Did I mention that?
How old are your children?
The amount of movies I've watched in the last 17 years, I could probably count on 2 hands.
Wait, how old are your children today?
They are 17, 15, and 5.
Okay. Wow. Big spread there. Okay. Gotcha.
And Disney movies are not my favorite.
Yes. Understood. Is there a certain physical activity, workout activity that you like doing more than anything else?
I love jogging with my husband and my kid.
Oh.
That is my absolute favorite workout. But what I'm trying to prove to humanity is that you do not need a favorite workout to stay in great shape, because I will literally go into YouTube and just literally type in whatever I'm in the mood for, 20-minute ab-based cardio workout, pop it up on my screen and do it in my office. And that is my no excuses plan for staying in great shape for the rest of my life.
Got it. Last question of the favorites before we wrap up here. Laurie, is there a song that you love to jam out to when you're not in that good, when you're below that 8, but when you're calling the coaching? Is there a song
I can't think of one song.
Not one.
Okay, hold on. Let me try. Okay. This is terrible.
She did say she was going to have a problem with this list.
I really do. I have to force myself to even listen to music. There are wonderful songs, but I couldn't tell you the name of them. So you know that vampire movie, and they have that song like 100 Years. Could that be a song? That's an actual song that the girl sings. There's a video, and it's got a lot of candles, and my kids make fun of me. It's the most corny love song, beautiful melodramatic pop love song, and it just makes me happy.
I will try to scour the internet or whatever.
Your listeners can just understand that I'm a total dork who mainly just works and takes care of my children. And movies and music are just not my jam.
It's good stuff. Hey, Laurie, this has been very helpful, very on spot. People will check you out over on the Handel group, and this has been awesome. Any last words, parting words to our listeners on a bit of advice that they can take away from you that you should share with them today? You know,
what could be fun is actually to go pop over and watch the TEDx talk. It's online, obviously. It's called Secret Free. And you just have to, look up TEDx Secret Free or Laurie Gerber TEDx. It's a good 18 minutes to really inventory yourself. So if what I said spoke to you and you know that you're not being honest, maybe you're not lying to other people, but you're lying to yourself, or you're hiding something, or you're not facing something, I'm telling you, I think it is the number one way to improve a person's health and well-being. And so in that 18 minutes, you will hear, first of all of my lies and secrets. So if you want to hear what I've been up to while not watching movies and listening to music, that'll be fun. But it'll also just help you make an inventory for yourself and get you on that track if that's something that calls to you.
Laurie Gerber, thank you so much for coming on Thrive Loud today. This has been great.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
And to all our Thrive Loud listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and check us out on the web at thriveloud.com or follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud.